Olá Bom Dia ALEGRIA, Munson here with the Good Morning Portugal show, live stream and podcast. How are you this morning? Do let me know in the chat. Bom Dia ALEGRIA from T-Duck as well. Straight away this morning, straight off the bat. How are you, T-Duck? Good to see you here. And Sarah with an incredible run of good mornings. Bom Dia, Boa Páscoa. I think the celebrations are continuing, aren't they? I was trying to find out if today here in Portugal, the 21st of April, is an official public holiday. I don't think it's an official public holiday, but I wouldn't expect too much in the administrative end of society here. I think a lot of people are taking the day off and are extending their some government workers actually had Thursday off as well, and I suspect they might have created a lovely bridging holiday over the weekend to include today with a bit of leave as well. So how are you doing? How's your Easter been? Do let us know in the chat. Any nice pictures you've got, send them in on 913-590-303. It's been so busy here at Casa Munson and in my life over this Easter weekend, so much going on. I actually had to have a look back through my photographs sounds so old-fashioned, doesn't it? I had to have a look back over my Google Photos to see what I'd been doing over the last few days since last Thursday. I think I last saw you Thursday morning because Mrs. M did the show because I was taking our friend, Mrs. M's friend, but now my friend too, who came to stay with us last week from the United States. Lovely to see you, Carrie. And it would appear you had a very safe journey home. And you're back in the United States now. Oh, it's the Bom Dia Daily part of the show. I've been away for a day and I've forgotten how to do it. Let me just put that right now. There you go. All right. Yeah, we'll have a bit of a look at the news. Well, my news anyway, and let's hear yours as well. How was your Easter? What you've been up to, and what are you up to this week in the coming week ahead? Yeah, I had to look at my photos to fully realize what I've been doing over the last few days. Thank you to Mrs. M. Oh, Nunu, first of all, the dentist on Thursday evening. That was a great introduction to dental care over at Expats Portugal. That was the webinar. And the first of the premium member lounge as well, which is great fun. A new service, people hanging out, helping each other from 9 o'clock. That's going to alternate on Thursdays. Very successful inaugural visit. Astrid was talking to Mrs. M about that on Friday morning as I was driving to the airport. So yeah, Nuno was great. He's from Clínica Avenida up there in Gaia, up in the north of Portugal. But a good general guide to dentistry and dental care here in Portugal. Morning to you, Mel and Hugh as well. Good morning from Hugh in Viseu. I've got news about the karaoke as well. It was superb, Hugh. That bit of karaoke footage that Mrs. M put up online as I was limbering up on Saturday night, I'm not sure it portrayed me in the best possible light. Morning, Mel. It was a warm-up and it escaped onto the internet and prompted comments such as, you might need singing lessons. It got better. It got better as, what was it? Robert Mitchum once told me when I was a teenager. It definitely got better. Saturday evening was a great deal of fun, but I'm gonna go through it in order of what happened because I had to journal the last few days. All over at the Portugal Club. I like to send a little message out to everybody in the morning, and maybe it'll be the beginning of a sort of co-journaling experiment. I've posted up. Let me just go through it with you, and I'll highlight it with some video if appropriate. Hello, how are you? Been a busy few days here at Casa Munson and the GMP with the completion of Portugal Preparedness Week. My goodness, we did that, and the party on Saturday night was partying like it's 1999. So yes, completion of that very interesting week of content and looking at the resources for the rest of your life here in Portugal. Yeah, special guests from the US, trip to Lisbon, as you saw opening up the show there, featuring an authentic robot delivered ramen noodle experience. A shout out to Buga Ramen. Probably not the best place or most appetizing name for a noodle restaurant if you're American. Buga Ramen. It's B-U-G-A, by the way, not B-O-O-G-E-R. It's absolutely fantastic. Let me just play that video again in case you weren't here to see that. Bugaraman, you were amazing. Some of the best, not the best Portuguese food I've had here in Portugal, but certainly some of the best international, global cuisine. It was really nice to cook authentic, or not to cook, to eat freshly cooked Asian food. I suppose it was, yes. I think it's fair to say it's Japanese, essentially Japanese. It felt like we were sat in a Tokyo noodle bar. Not that I've been in one of those. I'll defer to Peter on that. But the atmosphere is very authentic, including a robot delivering the food and lots of Japanese touches, basically. And I think some influences from across. It was a Pan-Asian influence, but largely Japanese. And this is how the food got delivered to us. Mrs. M's not happy about it. She's looking over my shoulder saying, weird. Get used to it. That's what the future's going to. Every home will probably have a winking cat that comes up to you and says, arigato or thank you very much for my hot tea there. Yeah. Don't damage the new microphones. Thank you very much. Got the new karaoke microphones. I'll do a quick unboxing of. But yeah, that Bugaraman. And of course, the location is fabulous. They are in the Parque de Nações. It's such an exciting part of Portugal. I was there with my son, my eldest son. And we had a lovely day, having dropped off our guest at the airport. We decided to hang out in Lisbon for a little while. Sadly, part of the journey, as well as going to eat ramen noodles, was to visit. Oh, I've got to show you the picture of the mochi as well, haven't I? And the ramen noodles themselves. It's really, I'm making myself hungry already just looking at these. So I'll bring you those in just a minute. We went to what was meant to be. There's a bit of a clue for you. The best chocolate, the best chocolate shake. Let me just do this again. The best chocolate cake in the world. Now, we would be able to confirm or deny that, but sadly, after walking from, where were we? We walked down through Eduardo the Seventh Park, which I'm ashamed to say I've never done before. I've seen it from the bus and the car, but we went to El Corte Inglés after our noodles. Never been there either. What an amazing place, the Harrods, right? Of Lisbon, of Portugal. Probably the most swanky, let's call it a swanky, the most swanky shop in Portugal. Really enjoyed it in there. It was like being in Selfridges or Harrods, I thought. And yeah, after our ramen, there they go. That's mine with my shrimps and a shredded bean sprouts, grilled bamboo shoots, egg, seaweed. It was really, really good, really delicious. Oh my goodness, I've got to stop looking at that. And then mochi afterwards. I've only had mochi from kind of takeaway sushi places, and God forgive me, from Lidl, from the freezer section. All of the food in Bugaraman was another level. It was really good. So there we go. We jumped on the tube, saw the people queuing up for Cirque du Soleil, and missed some very dear friends queuing up for Cirque du Soleil on Friday. Jumped onto the tube and made our way to Il Corte Inglés. That's that part of town. What's the tube station for that? Is that San Sebastian? I can't remember. But anyway, got out and walked through the park. That fountain's a bit suspect, isn't it? There in the Edward VII Park. Walked down to the Marquês de Pombal and across town. And the boy, he was he was cream crackered by the time we got there. And yeah, it was quite a long walk. We were pounding the streets of Lisbon to get to the best chocolate cake shop. Well, the best chocolate cake. I don't know. I can't say it. I'd love to eat it, and we both would have loved to eat the chocolate cake, so-called best in the world. However, look at the disappointment on his face. Known in Australia, Luanda, Madrid, Miami, and Panama, but not for us in Campo de Rique in Lisbon. The shop was shut. We should have probably checked on Facebook, but yeah, not for us. And we went into the lovely Campo de Rique market. What a fabulous little part of town that is. And we noticed that a lot of people were coming out of church and then realized the penny drops. Good Friday. And people were at Easter services as we walked over to the Estrela Gardens. What a lovely place that is as well. Fantastic time we had in Lisbon. We went over to the Estrella Gardens, went to the lovely Banana Cafe, and had some of the very best chocolate brownie cake, I have to say. Very well priced, very well made, very enjoyable. Walked around the Estrella Gardens, really superb. What a lovely gardens, what a lovely park that is. And then jumped in a taxi and went back to the coach station. Sete Rios delivers us back home, basically, on the Rede Espresso coach to the end of our street. And in anticipation of our coach, we went into the zoo gardens and had a little bit of something to eat before catching the coach. So a really wonderful day. And that was just Friday. Then back for Saturday here in San Martino de Porto, and the karaoke and disco night. Now, thank you very much to Spartan FX, to Sarah, very thoughtful. I said, if you want to support us, we need some microphones, Sarah. We need some microphones, because I only had one microphone, and people were sharing it for duos and trios. You can't do that. There's our old mic. And now the end is near, and so I face all of that sort of thing. And 3 people singing on the mic. It's very, very intimate, but not ideal. So Sarah said, yes, let's get you some microphones. And here they are. Let me just take the sheath off the box and reveal these to you. Very nice little presentation case here. And inside the box there, it's like going to visit Q in a James Bond movie. What have we got here, Q? I've got you 3 microphones, Bond. Don't mess about with them. They can kill a man. Actually, some of the singing could possibly have caused lethal injuries, but that's karaoke for you. No problem. Great fun. Absolutely wonderful. 3 fresh Behringer mics with the saliva of many different humans on them now. Don't worry, Sarah. I've kept one good one, especially for you. When you come and join us next time at the karaoke and disco. But thank you, Spartan Effects, for the wonderful Behringer microphones there. The Ultravoix XM 1800Ss, no less, our dynamic cordioid vocal and instrument mics, set of 3 there. Lovely. And what an evening we had. A bit of drama because Mrs. M heard that I wasn't there. Terence Austin turned up. He truly is the life and soul of the party, that man. And he turned up thinking it was a 7 o'clock start, and he just left thinking that something terrible had happened to me. Phoned my house to find out what had happened to me. Mrs. M thinking, well, he left a little while ago, and now he's disappeared without trace. He's obviously collapsed at the wheel and driven into a ditch. So sorry if anybody was concerned about me as the message went out. Is Carl alive? Just before the karaoke on Saturday night. All was well, by the way. Our paths we narrowly missed each other, which sparked off this drama of me, whether I was slumped at the wheel somewhere on the way to the karaoke disco. But it was great. A little bit scary at first. It felt like it wasn't going to be very well attended, but there were enough people there to create a great atmosphere. It wasn't packed like the first one, but it was superb. And one of the really lovely things about the evening was how we had people from all over the world. And a Portuguese family turned up, a Portuguese gang with their Spanish and Swedish friends. And they joined in with the karaoke, and we started singing Portuguese songs as well by the end of the evening. And it was really wonderful how we were able, as a group of foreigners, to say how much we love your country to the Portuguese people, and how they joined in with us. Because at first it was like, what are these people doing? They are killing songs live in front of us here. They'd obviously seen karaoke before, but seriously, by the look on their faces, they felt like they had to step in and get involved, and they did, and it was wonderful. And we've got a song now. We were at the end of the evening, and there were just a few of us left who were thinking, what Portuguese songs can we sing? And then it's turned into us adopting, I think we've got 2 songs. We've got Jeanar's Dunas, which everybody seemed to love in the bar. And I remembered another one, the Sol de Caparica, which I'm going to rewrite as Sol de San Martino. So I think we're going to video that and enjoy making that as a group of Portuguese people and foreigners singing, Dunas, I think, a slow one, and then the upbeat Ramones cover version, basically. I can't remember what the Ramones tune is called, but what other band who did Sol de Caparica? I'll come back to you on that. James to come, and Vitor, of course, our man in the north, joining us, and the old guy in Espinho joining us soon. But we will record that together. We will video that in the club on the 3rd Saturday of May. Please join us, karaoke and disco. So the 3rd Saturday of May. will be the 17th. Okay, so we've got the 17th of May. That will be our next karaoke and disco. If you want to come and join us and have some fun that evening, and we will record. We will do our own cover version. A bar full of people singing Sol de San Martino and Dunas by GNR. Your messages coming in. I haven't even finished talking about the weekend yet, but let's say hi to who is here with us this morning. Changes coming this week as well on the Good Morning Portugal show. Very much a springtime sap rising and changes afoot. More about that later on this week. Bom dia, amigos e feliz segunda. Off on our travels again this morning, as discussed with Luis on Friday. Paris today, then San Sebastian tomorrow. I was at San Sebastian tube station in Lisbon. I think you're going to San Sebastian itself in Spain. All by train. Be good, all. And if you can't be good, yes, be careful. Thank you, coach. Have a lovely time. Bon voyage. We had a few days in rainy Porto last week. How was that, Pam? Hopefully the weather will improve this week. Rainy times in Porto. It's like being in Manchester again, isn't it? We were at Buga Park das Nações. I didn't know there was one. I thought you were at the Saldanha restaurant. Oh, yes, there's a few of them. So you went to Buga Saldanha. Buga. They need to change that name, don't they? I said, hey, Mum, what's for dinner? Go up your nose and pick yourself a winner. That's what a booger is, isn't it, in the United States? But booger ramen, entirely different. Don't let it put you off. Boa Semana, El Corte Inglés is one of my favorite places in Lisbon. I love the Red Line. Yes, Aviva. The Red Line as in the Tube Line, I'm guessing. I'll be having another day out in Lisbon soon. There's a Paula Rega exhibition on at the Gulbenkian Foundation, which is closed, I think, at the moment. Is it going to reopen with the Paula Rega exhibition? Lee McGrady, good morning, people. Hi, Lee. Bom dia, campus. Feliz segunda a todos. Como foi o vosso fim de semana? He'll be asking that in person in about 2 minutes. We saw Paula Rega exhibition in Cascais when we were there last year. She had an amazing life. Yes, comparisons are odious, but she is. How can we describe Paula Rega? She is the who's the lady with the eyebrows? she's that version of a wild living female artist right here in Portugal. We got confirmations from Ima, Bon dia James, but not appointments. How long before they sent you an appointment? Okay, he can answer that live when he gets here. El Corte is awesome. Their sale prices can be pretty good. Did you go to the top floor? You can go outside. I didn't see that. Must do that next time. We were pretty tired by the time we got there. We used the escalators and we had a lot more walking to do. But yes, well, remember that. El Corte Inglés, very, very good. We went to the Queima de Judas, Burning Judas in Palmela. It was the most festive night before Easter event I've ever seen. That sounds good. That's another one for the big list, is it not? Right. Quick bit of video from yesterday then. Me and the Colin Ross Jones were filming Car of the Year. And this, I was going to do a little bit of a setup for you here. What were we doing? I've told you now, but this is part of it. We have got the most extraordinary video coming for you on Thursday on Go Motoring Portugal. It is Car of the Year. It is, of course, the car I started out my driving life with back in the 80s, the Renault 5. It has been remade for this age, and it really is very, very good. Spoiler alert, we both absolutely love it. Even Colin, he's even prepared to give up his petrol motor for one of these. He really loves it, and that, which is something I never thought I'd hear from his lips, that he would prefer an electric vehicle. He absolutely loves this. Here's a little behind the scenes moment from us when we were filming all around the Óbidos Lagoon yesterday.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready, Carl.
Yeah. There's a guy in the back. And the car talked to us at one point as well. It gave us a little bit of a lecture, which was very unnerving. That's one feature I wasn't too keen on. It's listening to all your conversations. I made an inappropriate joke and it corrected me. It shamed me in front of my colleagues and passengers in the car there, which we all thought was very funny in the end, but it was quite unnerving to think that we were being surveilled in that way and pulled up by a bloody computer. It's actually like the paperclip. It's anyone who remembers the Windows paperclip. It's like having that on the dashboard, which if you remember the paperclip, you will also think that is not such a great idea. Anyway, it's 8:20.
Bom dia!
Olá, bom dia. Tudo bem?
Muito!
Muito.
Sim,
Very good.
sim. Contigo?
Well, you know what my answer is going to be,
Sim.
but it's so
Pesado.
good. Yeah, right. And it's nice to be here for a rest, quite frankly, with you all this morning, and you, James, just to sit and have a bit of a chat.
Igualmente.
Have you ever been in a car and there's a man in the back with a mask? You don't have to answer that.
No.
That was a bit weird, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's like, who's that with the VA? What is it? VR?
Yeah, well spotted.
Thing?
It wasn't some sort of sexual perversion. It was actually a VR mask, and he was controlling the drone that was following us at times.
Okay. So
yeah,
it's a
yeah.
filming necessary. Should have him lying down in the trunk somewhere. Or the boot.
Well, you know what? I'd met him once before a house viewing because he does real estate videos, but I think his real love is doing these, like, much more exciting videos than static houses. And it was amazing. He really did us proud. Actually, I can show you a little bit of the video. I'll do a little bit of a download because it is extraordinary. Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on a minute. I'll get that downloading in the background and play a little bit because it is really good. And his name's Kyle, and I think he'll join us on Thursday. But he's very good. He's been a fashion photographer in Paris. He's now living around the Orbidosh Lagoon, and he wants to really do something with this drone photography. And I hope he does, because he's very, very skilled. And I'll play you a little bit in just a moment.
Well, while you're downloading it, I wanted to say something about those robots at the restaurant.
Yes. What do you think?
Well, I saw a very positive use of those by people who were unable to leave their homes, but otherwise perfectly capable of having a job. So they couldn't show up for a job, and they didn't happen to be tech people.
Oh, right.
So a couple of, at least this one restaurant worked out that they could hook up these robots to Wi-Fi to real people in their homes who would then wait the tables with the robots.
Wow.
And I thought that was amazing and an incredible use of technology to integrate human interaction. I just had to say it when I saw those robots. Yeah, that's one application that could be really amazing if it took a hold. Of course,
isn't that incredible? There's a moment with all technology, isn't there, where before arms dealers and pornographers get hold of it, the rest of humanity can benefit briefly from incredible technology. Like
sometimes
that.
After, but yes.
Usually after, actually.
Yes.
They put all the money in, haven't they, to develop it. And the few crumbs.
We made an incredible weapon out of this. Well, maybe we could use it in our restaurants to bring real people.
We could use it in a nice way to help people. Nah, there's no money in that. But anyway, on that occasion, so this is somebody who doesn't have physical mobility, but enough to control and actually have the robot as their proxy in the world, basically.
Yes.
Isn't that wonderful?
People with, I don't know the exact names, so I don't want to do them disrespect, but who can't move their bodies, but can use their heads to hit an electronic lever or something, but can talk. Those kinds of things. Like I couldn't ever be a staff at a restaurant, but I can do it from my home using these robots and talking.
Oh, okay. We need to think of more applications for this. I'm not that that's we could leave it right there because that's amazing. But you could actually attend where my mind has gone.
Helping people with their groceries out the grocery store. I mean,
you could also attend a Thanksgiving dinner. If you're missing it and the arguments and the challenges and difficulties of Thanksgiving, you could go and serve food at your family Thanksgiving event as a robot.
Of course, you'd only need that, $50,000 robot to be able to do that. So
it might
be pretty expensive, but it might be worth it. I mean, who knows? There may be subsidies available if that kind of technology was available to people who qualified for those kinds of subsidies. You don't know. I mean, anything's possible.
But if every home has one eventually,
oh sure,
and it can be hijacked. Not hijacked is the wrong word, but you know what I mean. If it can be operated remotely, you could go I mean, actually, then it's funny how the human imagination goes, isn't it? There's a lovely idea, and there's actually, no, that's a terrible idea because it have cameras in it, and you'd be wandering about someone else's house looking.
And then
through...
it could be hacked, and people could rob you. It's all kinds of
Go
horrible
back!
things
Go back!
that could happen. Yeah. So
Yes, that's right.
I mean, that's the risk of any advancing any technology, and as we have seen, every good idea has been bastardized by someone who wants
Printing
to
press.
do something not so good with it.
Right back to the printing press, eh? And the
Yeah.
internet and the wheel and fire.
Yeah.
That's right.
Whether it's
Well,
advertising or warfare, there's always something at the other end that can apply that technology in a way
we're a
that.
funny bunch. We're a funny bunch,
Yes.
aren't we? So, where's my robot? Oh, it's on the street corner with all the robots from the neighborhood, and they seem to be plotting something.
That's right.
Get back in here!
Why are you pointing a gun at me?
Put that down. All right. Okay. Here's some scenery. This is what this chap Kyle is capable of. He just quickly put this together, I think, on when Colin picked up the vehicle, the Renault 5, and there are messages coming in about Renault 5s. Don't dismiss it. It's an absolutely beautiful car with a denim dashboard, and again, don't let that put you off. Very reminiscent of tight denim shorts in the 70s. Here's a little bit of what Kyle did. I think on maybe on Friday evening. Isn't that amazing? That's so much better than
Beautiful.
me hanging out the back of an estate car, which is what we did for one of our earlier videos. Kyle, you're amazing. Can't wait to see the final video. That's just some test footage that he captured on Friday.
Nice.
Yeah,
Very nice.
Real good. Right, what's going on with you, and Espinho? How are you?
I'm doing fabulous. I realize that my walking subsides when it gets rainy outside, which makes sense, and I don't hold any guilt around that. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll get out next time it's at least not rainy. It doesn't have to be sunny for me. Just I don't want to walk around in the rain.
Yes.
Well, even there's exceptions to that sometimes, but generally not. So I've been a little more indoors over the last week. Looking forward to the weather report. Looks like it's supposed to be getting more some more days of sunshine coming this week. So looking forward to that. Still struggling with administrative stuff, but I know I'll work my way through it, which gets me back to Thunder's question. It took about a day. I think I got an email the next day after I sent the form in for the appointment. So, but it immediately sent me a verification of the request. So once I submitted it, the immediate email said, "We received your request. Here's what it looks like." So if you haven't received that, then you might want to try again.
Okay, all right, there you go. And so you're still in a little bit of a delay with some of the things. Some of the things,
yeah,
okay.
I'm trying to see what the next thing is. First of all, I'm not even certain that the appointment I got is for what I want to do, because there's nothing that tells you that. So it says you've got an appointment to change the data on your residency form. But it didn't ask me what I wanted to do, so it didn't know what I was coming for. So, and the emphasis on the return email was on people receiving their residency cards or renewing them. They didn't say anything about changing an address or anything like that. So, so that's one thing. I'm not certain that the appointment I've got is going to actually do what I need to do, and that would be really a pain in the rear, because the appointment is scheduled in Cascais. I'm in Espinho, so I'm looking at a 3 to 3.5 hour train ride to Lisboa, and then the metro to the connection to the train that goes to Cascais. I'm looking at, probably 5 hours to get there, get my appointment, and then another 5 hours to get back. So 10 hours to change an address.
That's not great, is it? So the calls recently to make IMA completely digital would be music to your ears. There is some.
Yeah, if they can do that, I don't know. I mean, they do it with citizenship cards. You can do everything online with your citizenship card, and I don't know what's. I mean, the only difference is I'm not a citizen, but I'm a legal resident, as are citizens. So,
Yeah.
in my view, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to do that. But at this point, no. So if the appointment, I show up and they go, oh, we can't do that because you were here to pick up your card, but you already have one.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, so there's 10 hours of wasted time that I don't know in advance. So so now I'm going to see if I can figure out how to change the appointment, at least to an office that's more accessible. I mean, the huge irony, I guess it is that there's an IMA office right here in Espinho. I could walk there in 10 minutes. I've actually been there, waited in line for an hour and a half to be told I needed an appointment.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, there must be another way. I just don't know how. So I have to check and see. I think they provided an email contact, and I think they provided a phone number. But everything I've heard is those don't work when you're trying to contact IMA. You don't get responses back to your emails, and nobody answers the phone. So I'll just have to see. But it would be wonderful if I could at least restrict it to the northern portion of Portugal.
Wow. So yes, second best would be to be able to walk there. First would be to be able to do it online, right? And third, and by far the worst of all of those options, is traveling a long way to another part of the country.
Well, that would be fourth. Third would be to be able to travel somewhere between Porto and Aveiro.
Okay, yes. But we're talking about the lower quadrant of 3 and 4 here, aren't we? Of how annoying and unnecessary that is, really. And forget it today. I think today is a non-starter in it, trying to do any admin stuff. But we know it's possible, don't we? I mean, there are parts of the government and certainly lots of companies that can do these things and make it all work online and create not only a digital service, but one where you could actually see your process yourself behind the scenes. Some of these, even some of the sort of latest migration services, they have a sort of step by step. I remember doing a divorce a long time ago, and this was like 20 years ago almost. But there was a back office, and you'd be able to see where you were at in the process. You'd log, and it was a really great system. It was simple, it was effective, it was easy. And they oh dear, I've got a cat here with. This is unusual. Jenny the cat is not. Oh, okay. Hello, good morning. What? Okay, James.
It's not an unusual thing for cats. When you get busy, they want attention.
But she's never been in here before. I don't think she's ever been on the Good Morning Portugal show.
No, it's just a hello. A rub of the head, by the way, is a real communication of acceptance and connection.
She loves me.
With the cat.
Yeah, she's a bit funny. She's one of the strangest cats ever. Now she's walking over the keyboard. This could end badly. And I'm also getting the tea towel hole.
I think we lost sound. Oh, we lost visual. The cat said, "Get out of here. Pay attention to me, not that stupid machine." So hello, everybody. It's just me now, I think. So I'm running the show. Unfortunately, I was going to talk, well, not unfortunately, I was going to talk about a bird, but Carl has the photos. So even that may need to wait. So what else have I been up to that's of any interest? I don't know. Let me think. Language is always something that I enjoy talking about. Anything new? Nothing particularly new with language either. Although the name of the bird, the Portuguese name of the bird that I had lined up for today, would give us lots of practice with what I call the rolling R, or some people just hard R, because it starts with an R and has a double R in the middle. It's Rabi-Ruivu, which is a mouthful, getting ready to spit or something. Rabi-Ruivu. So after that, I don't have any karaoke to offer. What else could I do? I could just run away. Maybe in comments, suggest something. What? Oh, Simply Live. Okay. there's one. What level of language am I up to? I don't know. I haven't measured it. I've just continued to try to learn. I think that I'm probably somewhere through A1. I would imagine that I can do more than just say hello and goodbye. I can attempt to engage conversations. My biggest struggle with the language continues to be being able to hear it when people are speaking to me. I'm still not making out the sound of Portuguese. And I think I've said that before. I saw a Portuguese English teacher, or no, yeah, a Portuguese teacher who teaches Portuguese to English speaking people. And she said that one of the challenges of Portuguese to many other languages is that many other languages are languages of words. So if you can learn the words, learn how to pronounce the words and hear the words, you can speak the language. But she said European Portuguese is a language of sounds, which really helped me to understand why I was struggling. And even in English, we mush words together, but in Portuguese, sometimes you get an entire sentence that just sounds like one big long word. Just it's like, what? You know, so it's you have to learn the sounds. You have to learn how to put the context to the sound and a lot of other things that we're not often used to in learning a language. And I struggle with that, which is very frustrating because I have a good ear. So that I can't hear a language is like, really frustrating. But I'm working on it.
Do you know what? I think we've got, I don't know what happened there. The cat turned off the computer, so I had to restart. Thank you, James. You're a legend. And funnily enough, here, I think we've got a demonstration of what you're talking about. And another cat.
Vieram aqui para maninho, que é maninho de liberdade.
Well, that was even better than a lot of the Portuguese I hear. I could actually make out a few words. But yes.
I think we heard you.
Liberdade.
Yeah,
I definitely heard that one.
Okay. Yes.
Liberty, yeah. And that's the other thing. I realized that when you're listening to sounds, you need to have the vocabulary, because if you haven't seen or heard a specific word before, you just hear a sound, you don't know what the sound you're hearing. It's very much to me like birding. I can identify a bird by its song and by what it looks like. So if I hear the bird, I know what to look for. If I see the bird, I know what to listen for. But if I don't know the bird at all in any way, I don't really recognize it. And it's very much the same, I think, with language. If you don't know the vocabulary, you'll hear the word and you'll go, that sounds like bleh, but that doesn't mean anything to me. And then you see it and go, oh, it's a word and I don't have that word. So I couldn't translate it. I couldn't figure out. It's a challenge. I say all language, learning any new language is a challenge. All languages are. And every time I say I want to get mad at Portuguese, I remember I speak English, and that helps me because we do a lot of the same things. So anyway, that was a long answer to a question about what level
I'm at. That was great. Thank you for picking that up. And it's always, we love talking about learning the language here, don't we? And there's some great comments in the chat there. And I see what you did there. You mentioned birds, which brings us on to Bird of the Week. We'll return to some of these. And I
combine that with language because of the pronunciation of the R's in this particular bird.
Oh, very, very good. Okay, we'll return to some of the themes of the morning, like is today a public holiday or not, with Vitor, how to celebrate the Portuguese Easter. Is that continuing today or not as well? We shall find out more about that. And maybe he'll want to talk to us about the language, because I know he posted up a language video just recently as well. So we'll talk to him after we've had a look at the Bird of the Week with Twitcher birder James here. This is our third bird, isn't it? What have we got this week?
Bird, yes, our third bird. Would you mind showing? Well, I don't know. It doesn't matter. The female in this case, in this species, is a bit more muted than the male.
My
and
goodness.
Look at the name, the Portuguese name.
Okay. Yes.
If you say it slowly, but
yes.
And working on it.
Okay.
Which is a redstart in English.
Oh, okay. So we're not seeing it in its full glory there, are we? But when you see one of these, you know you've seen one of these, right?
Yeah, well, it's primarily in the tail, which is what the name is, because apparently rabu or something like that means reddish, and rivu means tail, something like that.
Okay.
So and the reason I chose this particular bird is this is the very first bird I identified when I was in Portugal.
Great.
And what inevitably the first birds I think most people see are the ones that have a flash of something, black and white, stark contrast, or bright red tail, or something that, you know, the yellow and the black on the blackbird just are high contrast. You see it and you go, whoa, what's that? And in this case, you know, if you look at the front half of the bird, it's like, okay, that's pretty and that's nice, and there's some contrast. But when that tail flashes, like when they take off or when they land or get excited or whatever, it's bright. It shows up. You go, ooh, what made that red flash? So that's what caught my eye.
The sound that I'm playing in the background, you're hearing that? Is that the same sound that you've been hearing? You recognize that?
I'm not hearing a sound in the background.
You're not hearing a sound in the background. Oh, okay. I will put that into the chat in that case. But thank you very much. We have our red start then, Rabe Rivo.
And there's a couple of them. One, it's called there's a common, and then there's a black one I didn't see. That I've tried to find both in my birding app, and there were actually 3 different Rabe Rivos, or I don't know if it was, anyway, there was, you know, Preto and Branco. I was like, one was common, one was black, and one was something else. I'm pretty sure this is the common one.
All right, very good. Yes, red tail, red star. Okay, very good. Let's bring him on and he'll join this conversation. Thank you very much. So we started with the blackbird, didn't we? Last week we had the wagtail, the grey wagtail, was it called?
Not grey.
the crested.
I'm trying to remember now. I've got it on my screen, but that means I'd have to move around and look and find it.
Yeah. Well, they'll come back to us in the red start this week. Thank you very much. I'm really enjoying this feature. Let's give him a nice big round of applause. Olá Bom Dia.
Hola, Vitor. I love that bird on your mug. What is that? Oh, yeah.
The classic. I don't know if that's going to be
Marcelo
Galo. How are you? Tudo bem, Vitor?
No, you made me wake up for this.
It's great to
see. He made you. We've talked about that. Nobody can make you anything, Vitor. You're in charge of yourself.
Hey, Vitor, can I see tomorrow morning? Vitor. No, I want to sleep.
That's right.
Now, is that because it is Easter Monday? Would you expect ordinarily to be resting on this Monday after Easter as a Portuguese man?
Yeah, sure.
Is that because every Monday you would be expecting that, or particularly at Easter?
No. It's completely, you know, I wake up at 5 a.m. every day and, you know, take ice baths. And...
Journal. Yes. Yoga. Right. Okay. But the Easter is an exception. No resurrection then. It's come a somewhat late start. You could be found in the cave.
I'm the kind of guy that I can be in parties and whatever and not be a train wreck the next morning because I don't go overboard with stuff.
Yes. Okay. Yes. That guy.
Also, we have a daughter, so we have an excuse to leave parties earlier.
Isn't that great for anyone who wants to leave a party early?
People never talk about the best advantages of having kids, which is, oh no, guys, you have to go home.
But as we know, I think, Vitor, that's still going to take another half hour, right, in Portugal?
After saying goodbye. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the moment you and are saying
initiate.
Yes. Half hour for you, half hour for your kid, then half hour for someone else who decides to bring a yogurt or whatever. It's beautiful.
Right.
And sometimes one step at a time between a little conversation toward the door. A little bit closer, talk. A little bit closer, talk.
Yes. And then sometimes someone new arrives and it's like, can't leave now. They just arrived here.
Oh, okay. All right.
Now imagine if you didn't have the kid excuse.
Yeah, right. The car keys can be quite useful as well, can't they? They sort of just wave the car keys a little bit. Well, depending on what sort of party it is, of course. But the car keys can be a show of a declaration of intent at a certain point in the evening. I don't know if that works.
It depends. I've seen people that were like, you know, in their car car was turned on. They were like preparing to go down this very narrow path that only one car fits. They're talking with the windows rolled down. Then another car arrives. Oh, whoopsie, gotta go. 5 minutes later, the guy's there behind the wheel.
Isn't it funny? And probably everybody wants to go, but they're just observing this system.
You rarely hear honking, even on situations like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful, isn't it? It's
I don't know how it is in other countries, but if you'd like a bit of this slice of life here in Portugal, go to portugaldoor.com. I can help you move here.
Yes, and it's not like that in other countries. My understanding of being in the road is if you are in the road, it's your road, and you can do with it what you want for as long as you want. And then the people who come behind you have to wait until you've done all of that, right?
But don't cut someone off or do something stupid, and then there's horns all over the place.
Doing that.
That's between car and car.
There's no better example than yesterday. We were going to my grandma's house, and there was this guy on a very modern Mercedes car going at 40 kilometers per hour, which, by the way, the minimum is 50, which is already pretty slow on empty roads, right? Yeah. And he was going 40, then 30, then 40, then 30, and then he would swerve to the middle of the road looking at some house or whatever. It's crazy.
It's called a road trip.
Yes. I feel Portuguese culture changing with the younger generation here, Vitor Costa, not observing his right to the road there.
Yeah, uncharted territories, to be honest.
Okay, all right. And may we show the beautiful spread that you experienced at your grandmother's house and talk through it? Is that okay?
Yes, but before, I just wanted to clarify one thing on Rabi Ruivo you were talking about a while ago. So Rabo does mean tail.
Yeah.
Okay.
It also means butt.
Does it?
It usually means butt a little bit more than tail, but on this case, I guess it kind of either are. And the Ruivo is like a redhead, you know, that the red hair.
Oh, ginger folks. Okay, so Rivo, is that the sort of colloquial term for a redheaded person?
No. That is the actual word for a redheaded person. Ruivo, ruiva.
Right, very good.
So Rabi Ruivo means it has like red tail, implying like hair or something like that. By the way, I'm not a Portuguese language historian, so I'm just telling you my feel of the word. Okay, don't quote me on all of this. I'm sure if I look up definitions of certain words, which I often do, I get new insight. But growing up, Ruivo always kind of meant the actual hair, and then you would use other words for similar colors in other objects.
Could I give my wife, notably a redhead, the sort of pet name Ruvinha? Ruvinha. Yeah, that could be my special name for her in Portugal, couldn't it?
Well, it depends on how she reacts.
Oh, okay.
What did you just call me?
Yeah, punch in the face, and I'll know never to do that again. Okay, well, or she'll go look it up, and then I'll find out.
That's a judgment call on your part.
Okay, thanks for your help on that.
Yeah, it's even like I'm on my own. The term ginger can be, you know, a term of affection depending on the relationship, or it can be an insult. So you need to be careful with words.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your counsel on this matter. If I turn up next week and I've got a black eye, you'll know how that went.
But I was talking about the spice.
Another one. Rabo as well, we know, is the sort of rump cut of the bacalhau as well, isn't it? Rabo.
Yeah. You also have rabo de peixe in the Açores, I believe.
Yes.
Which is like a location, it means fishtail.
Yes, okay, very good. So it's some excellent.
Well, ChatGPT, which is where I got the translation from Portuguese English, says that the name literally means red tail. So Rabu equals tail and Ruivo equals reddish.
That's correct.
Reddish, but that's I mean, what does ChatGPT know? Sometimes it's wrong.
No, that's roughly it, indeed. And by the way, if anybody wants a word for tail that's less ambiguous and less butt sounding, you can use cauda.
Cauda. Okay, all right. Thank you very much, Vitor, for this.
Cauda, like cauda de rainha, with a U. Cauda.
Okay. Oh, okay. All right. Thank you very much. So not caldo de reina. Okay. I mean, caldas de reina translates very badly as the queen's syrup or the queen's boils, but calda is for rear end or tail there. Nuno's with us. That was very good, James, doing that, multitasking behind the scenes. Great to see you, Nuno. And also Paul Rees is here.
Morning, Nuno.
Working day at Rural Properties, but only for management. The workforce is resting today. So could you talk us through that, Vitor? I noticed that the Prime Minister very thoughtfully ahead of the election gave quite a few government workers the day off on Thursday, which of course they added to their Friday day off, which was a public holiday, the Easter weekend. And then it's not actually an official public holiday today, is it? But lots of Portuguese people might be taking the Monday off as leave to have a nice extended Easter holiday. Is that right?
Well, actually, the tradition that the cross goes to people's homes and whatever.
Yes.
Many homes have that happen on Monday. So it's actually Sunday and Monday. So yeah, today we're going to be on like a family crawl, I guess. It's not a bar crawl, but you're going to do a family home crawl of sorts, going to places, eating the leftovers, and see what goes from there.
Eating the leftovers. Okay. Sarah, this is an interesting comment. I told my Portuguese only priest once that I liked reading Psalms the best because there are fewer weird names. Bingo. I now have to read the Psalm every week. How lovely. That's another way of practicing language and immersing yourself in the culture. Excruciating at first, but better now. So presumably a high point in your church calendar this Easter weekend as well. Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Okay, so Grandma's house then. So this is what you appear to do over the weekend. That is an awesome spread, Vitor. Can you talk about it from left to right? Do I see painted eggs in the bottom left?
Yes, you do. And in fact, we actually learned something on Saturday, because on Saturday we had this group. So we're now doing once a month at the local co-working space. We have a partnership with them that we gather Portuguese people and English people, and we do a sort of language exchange. Maria prepares a presentation, and we talk about subjects.
Yeah.
And one of the guys there is a Russian Canadian, and he was talking about how it's a tradition in Russia to actually boil eggs with red onions. That gives them that like reddish, bluish color, right? So yeah, I don't know if I can point the mouse, but whatever. So you have the eggs on the bottom left, right?
Mm-hmm.
On top of that is queijadinhas. So they're kind of like these chewy, soft, almost gooey, like things that are really, really good. I don't know how to describe them much better than that. They're really delicious.
Yeah,
I don't remember the ingredients.
That's a sweet, right? Not a savory.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yes, like the whole thing. You pick it up and it's like slightly sticky and moist. And it's also a bit floppy, so you have to kind of grab it and turn it, but it's very good. To the right of that is panados, which is breaded chicken.
Love that. Absolutely love that. Yeah. Yeah.
Then a fruitcake on top, pretty common stuff. Then that other plate below the cake, that is an assortment of fried stuff. You probably see those everywhere, soy and all that.
Assortment of fried stuff. I love it.
Yes.
Then to the right
you have
anything fried.
Then to the right you have a charcuterie board.
Yeah.
Of course. On top of that, apple pie, more of the same stuff. Then on the top you have a bunch of random like sweets from a pastry shop. And then that big square thing on the right that looks like a pile of yellow napkins, that is called apparently ambrosia. It's like phyllo pastry. It's like very crumbly all the way through, and then you have layers of cream.
Oh, stop it.
So yeah, I think that's about everything. Oh, and then that yellow thing to the right of the flowers in the center, that's like a tronco, which is like a rolled cake with cream inside. Also pretty good. And then, of course, on the top right of the table, you have pão de ló.
Yes!
Which is usually the most traditional Easter thing. If anybody hasn't tried yet to eat a slice of that with a slice of cheese, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Let me put it that way.
Yes. Okay. The pal de lo is interesting, isn't it? Because if you're an English-speaking marketer, you might say, "Christ is risen, but not the cake," because it is noticeably. It seems like it hasn't been cooked, doesn't it? It's almost like the raw ingredients are barely cooked.
That's pão de ló?
Yeah. Or is that one in your part of the country very well cooked?
No, that one is cooked. Like it just doesn't look like it from here, but it's about this tall.
Okay, so that's a very cooked one. You see,
So
my
it's
neighbors.
like it's cooked in a pot that's like shaped like this.
Oh, with the spout in the middle, yeah.
Right, and
Yeah.
then it has a thing in the middle.
Yes.
And it's wrapped in paper all around, so the paper doesn't let you see the depth.
Yeah, my neighbors gave us a pal de lo. We live in Alfezarão, which is thought to be one of the the epicenters of pal de lo production, and I'm sure it is. I'm not doubting that. But typically in Portugal, other areas of cities and towns and regions will claim the same thing, and there'll be a great rivalry. So there's a very special pal de lo, a local speciality, and they gave it to us. I think maybe it was Easter, as you say, traditional. It might have been Christmas time. And with a smile on their face. And sometimes, when a Portuguese person is passing you some food with a smile on their face, it's because they know you're going to have a slight, it's going to be an interesting reaction. And the pão de ló from Alfezarão is really, it just seems uncooked. And that's why they were laughing, because it is like eating the sort of, like when in the kitchen, your mum's making a cake or whatever, and she lets you clean out the bowl and the spoon. It's got that sort of vibe to it.
Wait. You mean that it's like yellow? This bright yellow that's like runny?
Yes.
Oh, that's pão de ló de ovar. So that's a pão de ló, but it has a creamy filled middle.
Yes.
That thing is dangerous. You should not put that thing down.
Because what? Because it is uncooked.
No, I don't think it is uncooked, but it is a different version of the cake. But yeah, this one is like you take a slice. The slice is like this tall, and it's cooked throughout. It's dry. That's also why it goes great with cheese.
Thank you for that health and safety warning. Yeah, never would have thought to have that with cheese. And the flowers are significant, are they not? The peace lily, of course, is an emblem, a totem that might be given. Not sure on that one. Okay, let's move on then. Okay, thank you. In the last couple of minutes,
he was the emoji model for that one, by the way.
Yes, he was. That was perfectly done, Vitor.
I'm planning on making a bunch of pictures, in different poses and whatever.
Please, send those through.
Media posts.
We'll use those, and everyone else can. Some stickers for the phone of Vitor Costa.
You could take them right off the emoji choices.
Yeah,
just make them yourself.
Vitor's emoji pack, we definitely would want to share that with people.
There you go.
$5.99 per month. Whoever wants it.
You see, ever the entrepreneur. On that note, what's going on at Portugal Door? I'm presuming getting more calls. Anyone who's in the business of helping people relocate and buy property in Portugal is getting more action, I think, on the phone from people around the world wanting to move here. How's that going for you?
Yeah, I did notice, especially starting on January, I started getting a lot more activity. Which is nice because now we can afford about half of our expenses per month. So jokes aside, we've been developing a lot, the last few weeks. I felt like we've been having more clients, but I still feel like we have more free time than I would like, if that makes sense to you. But been planning on restructuring like a business and the plans, and I'm going to be focusing a bit more on, now that I have a kind of a system already in place for my current clients and people that I'm helping, developing more of a system to get the word out more, like to reach out more, to help people more, make more social media content. Because at the end of the day, one thing I really want to know is to even the playing field for people who are looking to buy here in Portugal or rent here in Portugal. And, I'm just going to help people make posts that are valuable. And then if someone decides that they want my help to do it, they'll reach out. If not, I at least want people who want to do it on their own to have a better chance, to understand better what to expect. A good example is I made a post on Text the other day warning people who wanted to buy property here in Portugal two main things. So the first one is, if you're going to buy a property, and if you're going to pay cash, especially, you need to know that when it's time to close on the deed, you need to pay taxes on top of the asking price. So if a property is like 300,000, you may have to pay like 15,000 or whatever extra in taxes at the time of closing to the government. So you know you can't delay that payment there, right?
Yeah.
And another example is that if you're going to get a mortgage, it's important to get pre-qualified first, because the way the financial system works in Portugal is very different from other countries. Let's say the US, where you have credit scores and whatever. We don't use credit scores here. And one time I had a lady that reached out to me seeing if I could help her, because I am a promoter at Novo Banco. Not that that means much, but it's there. Where she had signed a few buying contracts, like for some properties in Lisbon, I think. And she wasn't being able to get approved, because in the US, she had a company, she was getting paid, she had good money, she had a good income, but she had a loan on on her mom's name, and her mom was paying it every single time with no defaults for like years. But because the bank here in Portugal considers that to be her fiscal burden, her debt to income ratio was way too high, she couldn't get approved. So, I want to push more things like that. And also, I keep making connections. I'll be happy to say as well that we've been working more and more also with Heather Binder.
Great.
She's been sending us some referrals. We've been working a bit more proactively together. And this is the kind of stuff that I love, like meeting people who are in similar businesses, and we cooperate, synergize, and make sure that, we can all come together to help more people.
Love it.
Instead of what you see a lot, which is, no, the clients are all mine, I just want the money all for myself, right?
Yeah.
So meeting great people, doing new things. We're getting a few new business cards designed that are going to be really fun. So we're excited about it, but we need to make more money in the next 2-3 months, because Maria is going to be out of service for a few months after that.
Oh, okay. Parabéns is in order then. Fantastic. Oh, well done, you two. How did that happen? You don't have to answer that.
Yes. There you go.
Please, come on.
So pleased. So pleased.
You see, when a man and a woman like each other very much.
There
are some bees and birds. I don't know.
And it's springtime, isn't it? Perfect timing, Vitor. Oh, how lovely. Thank you. I had no idea. Thank you for sharing that news with us. And yes, what a wonderful idea to help support this wonderful family, the Costa family, and their new arrival to be just announced here on the Good Morning Portugal show. So congratulations to the family. And that's wonderful. Love to Maria. And you know where he is if you want to get some help from him with the kind of, the long grass that there can be, portugaldoor.com. And well done on those collaborations. Absolutely. Let's see more of that. Absolutely wonderful to see. Cheers, Vitor. Cheers, James. Bird of the week is the, let's go back to one more time. No, that's last week's. This week's is, there he is, the Raberivo, the wonderful bird song. Okay, and we learned a little bit about the language through that as well. So it's a wonderful feature. Thank you very much for that, James. Both of you have a great week.
Probably a Jewish leader that had red hair could be a Rabbi Ruivu as well.
The Rabbi Revo. Very good. Okay, on that note.
And I just want to say I vouch for Vitor's service. Having used it, he's a great guy to work with and gets the job done. So
Forgot about that. Yes, there you go. And may you, the old Portuguese saying, may you find a boiled egg in your falar as a thought for the day. Have a lovely week. Cheers, Vitor. Cheers, James. Thank you, everybody. Take care and bye for now. Ciao.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready, Carl.